And the next one's actually even spicier, I would say.
Yeah.
Bjergsen versus FoFo. Of course, Bjergsen from North America, FoFo representing the LMS.
And I would say it was made spicier by some social media exchanges going on yesterday. FoFo got interviewed by, I believe it was, I don't know who it was, but anyway, they asked him basically, what do you think about going up against Bjergsen? He goes, easy, noob, GG, free. Like, he's just really confident. He's kind of laid back. And so Bjergsen sees this, and he has challenged FoFo to a 1v1 of Zoe. So we'll see if the players have agreed to that. They can talk to each other, as you said. We'll see if they'll both lock in that Zoe, or if Bjergsen will and FoFo will betray him and not go for it, or vice versa. But I think that would be pretty hype, because both of these guys were popping off on Zoe on Summoner's Rift today. So to see them both having to try to dodge each other's sleeps could be very explosive, and that's when I would really expect to end in a kill.
Yep, kind of convenient, actually, that the two players that have challenged each other to a Zoe 1v1 are the only two players to have played Zoe so far in the tournament, even though it is early. But, I mean, now two mid laners who saw mid versus top. Now, these are the kind of players that you expect to be at this kind of tournament. You know, have a lot of different experience in 1v1 matchups, are well accustomed, especially in solo kill, to trading effectively and killing their opponent. There's a reason mid laners are often hyped in 1v1 tournaments, and we'll see what they can bring here as Bjergsen going to start things off by banning Rise.
I mean, their lane is such a focal point in League of Legends, the 1v1. You know, so many of these 1v1 players are from the mid lane because of the focus on how important it is, even in Summoner's Rift, right? You talk about how some of these players will not have practiced a lot for it, but these guys are kind of practicing that just by playing in solo queue, because a lot of the mages can be very strong. They do play some of the strong dueling marksmen. Things like Corki and Lucian are obviously marksmen that mid laners play a lot of, so very interested to see what they're going to go for, but Bjergsen banning away the Zoe, so I guess that is off the table already.
I hope he asked him before he did that. A little bit rude there from Bjergsen, perhaps, but Zoe is off. Misfortune Victor Talia. Never mind, there's a single hover from Bjergsen. Not quite locked in just yet.
It is blind pick. There's the lock from FoFo. Bjergsen could just be going straight up for what he's comfortable with. Known as a big Syndra player, he's going to lock that. Remember, it is blind pick, so that is going to be the Varus versus Bjergsen Syndra, and FoFo, already having seen what Vert was able to bring to the table, that did not work out for him, but obviously confident that he can play it differently, is going to be bringing the heal instead of the exhaust.
Certainly expecting quite a lot of Varus in the 1v1 tournament, actually, but Bjergsen, I think, again, kind of doing the right thing here. We'll see exactly what summoners they settle on. Right now, it's very defensive for them both, but of course have options to change, and you get to see your matchup moving into the game and adjust a couple things here and there. In fact, I can just see Bjergsen checking his runes. You can change them there as well, but looks like he is happy with what he settled with, and this will be a fun one. Not a mid laner for FoFo, but certainly two very good-looking mids early in this tournament.
And something that has been played mid in the past. You know, if you have been around League of Legends for a long time, Varus did used to be played kind of straight up as that poke champ in mid. It is going to be, again, Airy and Comet. Probably going to see a lot of these in the tournament if it is going to be based around the poke. But I do think that there's more of a chance of Bjergsen kind of ooming on the Syndra than there really was of Faker on Nasus. So it'll be interesting to see if FoFo can kind of outlast him. He did end up actually changing over to the exhaust. So again, mirrored summoners here, barrier and exhaust.
Can already see Manifold Burn, as expected, taken by Bjergsen just based on the glowing blue of his health bar. But certainly did stick with those defensive summoners. Again, probably see a lot of those here in the tournament. FoFo not going to eat that first Q. In fact, draws the first bit of damage, Hail of Arrows into that Comet proc, and Bjergsen just going to go back. This is something you can do on this map.
And it's actually a pretty interesting start here from FoFo. So Boots 4-pot, a lot of it is coming down to kind of how effective this start is based on how many skill shots can you dodge, right? How much can you actually avoid from the Syndra, because you don't really have any combat power from it. It's just the added move speed. If you can dodge a lot of Syndra's skill shots, all three of them are skill shots, then it can become very, very effective. And you also have access to quite a lot of sustain with the 4-pot start here. So if he can dodge out some of Bjergsen's abilities and tag him with a lot of his own, Bjergsen is only on half the kind of sustain that his opponent has. So FoFo could play this patiently and look to kind of just push his opponent out.
Well, Bjergsen getting that harass started, but FoFo again getting it going with the Comet after the E. Kind of fun point of pride between these two as well. FoFo, one of his bigger international stages here after leading his team to two good-looking victories. Bjergsen, of course, a former 1v1 champion as well at the All-Star event. So both of these players looking to move on. And unfortunately for this event, it is best of one, single elim, moving at least until you move into the later stages. So not a lot of room for mistakes.
No, not at all. And it's going to be some really tight competition because I do think players are starting to take the 1v1 more and more seriously, kind of as a point of pride, right? It is this thing where there's no excuses really on the table. It is just you versus your opponent. It is not your team versus their team. And these guys want to show that they are the most dominant player on the Rift, that they can crush some of the competition.
Yep, my hope for fun died when Grass of the Undying Caitlyn was a thing. As Bjergsen actually taking a little too much damage here from FoFo, missing all his early skill shots here thanks to those boots and some deft movement there from FoFo. So Bjerg forced pretty far back towards this turret. Again, a nice dodge there of the Dark Sphere from FoFo.
And when you lose control of the health pack like that, then that's essentially another full potion giving over to your opponent. So it's almost like you're in a situation where it's 5-2 as far as that regen goes, unless Bjergsen can reestablish control. But he's already had to use both of his potions. Still 3 left for FoFo. He does have the mana flow ban, so although he's a little bit low now, he's going to be able to regen quite a bit on that next spell.
Does get a bit back there. Bjergsen just trying to keep the wave in a more comfortable spot, but FoFo is up more than a wave of minions right now. Bjerg again trying to hit back, but the turret also hits harder in this game mode too. It's not as easy as it is in SR to last hit those minions once they move towards the turret, and FoFo just playing up and aggressive, not afraid at all. Even going to start doing some turret damage as well. Yeah,
and he's CSing very well. You know, already a couple CS ahead of there of Bjergsen, and Bjergsen is going to have to base. FoFo is actually going to decide to match that. I would have liked to see him try to pull up those minions and kind of clump them up, because if you do actually group them and then you base, more of your minions are going to be killed off by your opponents, but it looks like they've kind of stacked up anyway, so he is going to still have the benefit of that pushing towards him. That's going to give him even more of that CS advantage, and he's going to have a pretty nice buy, but actually pretty aggressive here. He didn't decide to go for the Doran's Blade. He's going double longsword to Bjergsen's Doran's Ring plus cloth armor, so this is a bit atypical to what we have seen in the past. Where people do really like to kind of just stack those Dorans because of their efficiency early on.
Yeah, well, again, a bit more damage there. Aries starting to do a bit of work as well for Bjerg. FoFo a touch behind on XP, but does tip over level 5 as the minions again need to get shut down under this turret.
The other thing we have to keep in mind here is this is a Syndra versus someone who is not building MR. It's not like he's building a Hex Shrinker or anything like that. So there is still the potential to combo him down at 6. I mean, you see how much damage that is alone? If Bjergsen is 6 there, FoFo does have the potential to die, right? Yes, he has Barrier Exhaust, but if Bjergsen is able to get up on top of him and continue pumping in that damage, you can combo someone out.
And I think in the best case scenario for Syndra, you're only going to get to use Barrier in most of those situations, not Exhaust you, as you likely won't be in range. So we'll have to see. FoFo, though, chewing through those potions, now only has 1 left.
He is 6 and Bjergsen's 5, so he's kind of posturing aggressively here, but getting pretty low.
Damage back, Chain of Corruption hits, Bjergsen out of mana, but has the summoners left. FoFo doesn't get too much off that ultimate.
No, he did get a little bit of pressure, but I mean, he's running out of mana here now, and Bjergsen does kind of have the health advantage, and he has a mana flow ban proc right now, so he's going to be able to stay around and kind of continue to threaten his opponent. Is 6 now here also, so FoFo definitely has to be careful, especially as you kind of called out for Bjergsen. It's the same for FoFo. If you're not in range to exhaust on the ultimate, then that summoner is really not going to do you a lot of good, although you obviously still will have the barrier in your back pocket.
Yep, FoFo though, grabbing a health relic. Going to help out a lot there as Bjergsen still a little low on mana. Grabs a relic though, that's much needed mana more than anything else. Doran's Ring's also helping out as he last hits some minions, but Bjergsen smells blood here. Oh, actually puts the ulti down, but the exhaust from FoFo was nice.
Yeah, I mean, the exhaust was alright.
Stun! Bjergsen, no, not through the barrier. FoFo firing back minions onto Bjergsen. Cannon hailing away at his health bar.
And it's good that he could get the exhaust down, but he actually had to move forward to get it, so most of the orbs had already connected before that summoner went off, and now Bjergsen has a double summoner advantage. He is extremely low, so he needs to base, but now, to me, Bjergsen can go for the kill. Like, he can actually start to control the mini wave and posture and actually look for a 1v1 kill. He's hoping now that he is fake to base, so FoFo will then base and he can farm out some of these minions because he's staying around at really low HP.
Yep, there's even a bait brewing here as well, potentially, but Bjergsen will get away with that fake base. In fact, staying for another wave here.
Yeah, his minions did stack up, so he doesn't want to have it kind of pushing to his opponent, even though it is a cannon wave. He's going to try to shove that out, have enough gold for a good buy, and potentially set himself up for the all-in. Because once again, FoFo going for even more aggressive items, just more long swords, has this rated Dirk. He will be able to get a lot of damage out, but Bjergsen has a 2-summoner advantage, so he needs to kind of utilize that to posture aggressively and at least get something as far as a wave control advantage to get the CS back if you can't go for a kill.
Well, FoFo missed 2 minions. This is now up a couple as Bjergsen will have to return. Seeker's Arm Guard though for Bjergsen, again, kind of keeping with the defensive theme, and FoFo has gone for a full restock on health potions. He had 4, went down to 0, and now has 5, which is of course the max allowed.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, it's gonna give you a lot, right? Health pots are extremely efficient when you talk about HP to gold value. A health potion basically gives you the same amount as 400 gold worth of HP stats if you're buying like an actual ruby crystal, right? So it is very, very powerful as far as that goes, as long as you actually have time to have them all complete their full run. So if you are kind of poking back and forth and you can utilize all of them, great. But if it is a straight 100-0 type situation, well, the health potions don't do much for you.
Yeah, not a whole lot. FoFo with a nice bit of poke though. Bjergsen with a couple of pots himself. Only 3 right now as FoFo again going to take some more damage. Bjergsen looking for the all-in stun lands, and there it is! First blood!
Nicely played there from Bjergsen, forcing out both of the summoners actually from FoFo earlier on. Knows he has the advantage, doesn't even end up needing either of them to complete that 1v1 kill. Very well played from TSM's mid laner, and he's going to be moving on now, and that could set up a potential, well, it actually does set up the matchup with Faker, because they, I believe, do meet in the second round of the bracket, which would be tomorrow.
Well, we'll have to have a double check on that one, but certainly exciting if that is the matchup we have coming up. Bjergsen not defending a title, unfortunately for Kimber, looking for a second 1v1 All-Star title. Uzi, of course, also in the hunt. We'll see him later in the tournament, but there are some killers out there as FoFo makes an unfortunate early exit from this portion of the tournament. Still plenty for him to play for. So watch this one again. FoFo's just cornered at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, Bjergsen knows it. He can posture so aggressively because he has the summoner advantage. He goes back, he gets a good buy, he establishes that lane dominance, and able to take down FoFo. And so far, 0 for 2 for Varus in the competition. It had been all about 80 carries really last year. But so far, we have a Nasus winning, we have the Syndra winning, and both of them looking pretty damn good doing it. You know, there could be an argument for, well, is it about the player, is it about the champion? But we'll have to find out as the tournament goes on.